Heather, when you go to the doctor's office and they tell you that you have a clean bill of health, that you are healthy, in your mind's eye, what are you seeing as being healthy?
Well, what do I see or what do I think? That's the question.
They are different, aren't
they? They are different.
And I bet if you were to describe what you see and think, it would be very different than what I see and think as being the definition of being healthy.
For sure.
See, nothing has a definition until we give it the definition.
Right.
So when we say, are you fit? Are you healthy? Are you organized? There might be a different mental picture or image that comes to mind for everybody that you talk to.
Yep. I know a lot of people, when you see someone and you go, she's really fit, that conjures up actually a lot of negative thoughts, that she lives in the gym. She doesn't ever eat anything except for chicken and broccoli. She doesn't have any fun, never goes to a birthday party and has a piece of cake, never, throws caution to the wind on the weekend, that she's obsessed with health and fitness, obsessed with eating well. Or they go to well, she's just skinny because she's genetic. It's genetic. She's just a skinny person, and so really
it's all in her genes.
Yeah.
She could eat anything she wants. It's all in her genes.
She can eat whatever she wants and she looks like that. And let's be honest, there is a little bit of truth to all of those, but there's also a lot of not truth. So Let's do one by one. Does she live in the gym? Well, she probably spends a significant amount of time in the gym, or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's just really efficient with the time she spends. But I can promise you she does exercise in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
So is it true that she goes to the gym? Yes. But the falsehood is that she lives there. Does she eat? Yes.
If she's anybody who's that fit has to fuel their body.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would probably be surprised how much a really fit, active athlete eats. They eat a ton. I was actually thinking about that today as I sat down with my massive plates for lunch. And I was like, people probably think I have an eating problem. And in fact, I've had that comment before. I've had people comment when I get a massive salad, I don't even know how you eat all of that. I'm like, because I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Because I'm hungry, and because I just worked out really hard and my body is hungry. So she probably does eat, but what she probably doesn't binge on is milkshakes and French fries and all that kind of stuff. So true, eats well, eats. False, doesn't starve herself. Doesn't have any fun.
Oh, fuddy-duddy.
Yep, because it's not fun if you are fit. I'll tell you what is fun is being able to go anywhere I want, do anything I want at the drop of a hat.
Wear anything I want.
And
know that I'm looking good.
Yes. Your kids say, hey, Mom, you want to have a water fight in the front yard? I'm not worried about what the neighbors think if my clothes are wet and stuck to me, because I feel good. I feel strong. So I think that's pretty fun. But I bet you that person that you're looking at, that you're thinking doesn't have any fun, or it wouldn't be fun to be them because they are X, Y, or Z. I bet you if you talk to them, they probably do have cake at birthday parties, but they don't have a birthday party every week or every day. They save it and they make sure that they make a healthy choice most of the time so that they can have a little fun and have a cookie here and there.
Yeah.
Obsession. That's one that I think gets projected upon people.
Yes.
People that are really good at things, they must be obsessed. They must be. Or maybe they just really prioritize it. Maybe it's just really important to them. So what's true is they probably do prioritize it. It's probably very important to them. They probably make sure that it's a major part of every day. But false that they're obsessed. I'm not saying that the people aren't obsessed, because there are people who are obsessed. And we're talking about your projections, not that there's never anyone that fits these categories. And the last one, the genetics. That is my favorite one to hate, because everyone is born a baby with some squish. Some have a little more squish. Sometimes they don't get as squishy.
I got a lot of squish.
I got a lot of squish.
I was a hippo. I was adorable, though.
I gave birth to a Buddha. We used to joke that my
That's
son,
because they're bean poles now.
they are bean poles, and my children were massive babies, especially my son. He was in the 90th percentile from day one.
Everything. Yep.
He was gigantor, and he was in the NICU because my water had been broken so long, and I got a fever, so I freaked out.
Oh, dear.
Put him in there. Here's this 8.5 pound baby next to these little preemies. He looks so funny in there because they're like, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds. Yeah, 8.5 pounds. He's like
monster baby.
Yeah, and he just kept getting fatter and fatter and fatter. He was always just this ginormous fat kid. Now I can't buy pants that are skinny enough for him. I put tucks in everything, and I can count his ribs. And so you can't tell me that he was born skinny or that he was born big boned. He was just born. Yes, are you born to be 6 feet tall or 5 feet tall? Absolutely. And if you look at mom and grandma and all the sisters, and they all have the exact same shaped hips, guess what, darling? You're going to have hips. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be overweight. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be obese. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have heart disease and diabetes and all these other things. It means that you were born to have some really nice round hips, or that you were born to be a beanpole. And that's just how you're born.
Yeah. But how many of those people that have really round hips have liked that, or have taken something and run with it?
Right.
Or they just have used it as an excuse?
Yeah.
To say, well, girl, you are just out of luck because this is just the way that you were born.
Yeah.
Like you were born to wear a size 14. You were born to wear a size 22. Or you got the Aunt Carolyn jeans and you are born to wear a size 0 for the rest of your life. Like,
and you can eat whatever you want.
So are you using it as an excuse because of what somebody else has told you? Or are you looking at, which is, a false sense of perception, false sense of reality? Or are you looking at it as okay, well, I was dealt a certain hand. What can I do about it now?
Well, and there is some genetics. I'm not saying that genetics don't play it, because if you take, I can't remember who it is, one of the professional ball players right now, mom was a track star and dad is a professional. Oh, I think it's the Chiefs quarterback. Dad's a professional ball player, baseball player. Mom's a track athlete, like highly decorated.
That's awesome.
Guess what? His genetics, he can freaking run.
Yeah.
Right? Like there is some genetics to that. I'm sure that he builds muscle more easily, just the same way that certain breeds of animals turn out a certain way, because you breed and you breed and you breed. And if you breed athletes and athletes and athletes and athletes, that does get passed down. So I'm not trying to say that doesn't play a role, but what I'm trying to say is that doesn't need to be part of a negative thing that you have in your head, a preconceived notion of I will never be because I am not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But if you're born of two highly decorated athletes, you best get yourself on the field.
Yeah. Well, but doesn't that happen in anything? I mean, you look at the children of two famous actors.
True. Yeah.
They tend to go into acting. You look at the children of two beautiful people, they tend to go into modeling. I mean, there are certain people that are just born with certain gifts, but they still have to work at it and they still have to try hard.
Yep.
It doesn't just give them a free pass.
Right.
So here's an interesting idea, how genetics come into play. My dad is a podiatrist, so he looks at the genetic of the foot and the composition of the foot, and he knows that if you're more flat-footed, you are more suited for long-distance running. Whereas if you have a higher arch in your foot, the tendons in there are tighter, and so you can actually jump and sprint a lot better than people who are flat-footed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you have
No wonder I can't sprint.
If you have a really high arch in your foot, you are going to be a better jumper and sprinter. So do hurdles. Do like the 100-meter hurdle dash, because you're going to kill it. But it doesn't mean that you're going to win. You still have to work at it, and you still have to train. It's just you're genetically predisposed to be a little bit better than somebody else in there. But it doesn't mean that you are consigned to eternal failure in sprinting if you were born with flat feet.
Yeah.
It just means that you need to work a little bit harder. It doesn't mean that you have,
My mind is blown. I'm really stuck on that right now. Yeah, my mind is like,
it's sprinting.
Well, I'm thinking about it because my husband is wicked fast.
Awesome.
He is wicked fast and he can jump insanely high. And he has the highest arches you've ever seen. I mean,
well, there you go. Yeah.
the highest arches. And I have the complete opposite. I have like no arch. I can't even stand to walk around barefoot because when you have no arch, it hurts.
No, that's me. Yeah.
And it took years for me to learn how to increase my vertical jump. I freaking worked on it. And sprinting was never my jam. Not ever. I can climb a mountain slow and steady all day long. But you asked me to sprint and I'm like, dying.
I can't.
I'm like, people are like, hurry up. I'm like, I'm trying.
I am hurrying.
This is me sprinting. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, but it's
just,
true.
boom, mind blown.
There
See,
you go.
learn something new every day.
See, now you can say, you can beat me at sprinting and I will beat your socks off in a marathon.
Right. See,
So
that's
there.
why.
So there. But see, these same image issues come to mind when we talk about being organized, especially if we were raised in a household that wasn't organized. They think that somehow being organized is, it conjures this image of sterile and stuffy and perfectionistic, and you can't walk on the carpet because you're going to leave footprints, and I have like these lines in the carpet from the vacuum right now. And we think that everything has to be in bins and everything has to be labeled, like you smack a label on your children's forehead if you can. There are these images that come to mind when we talk about what it means to be decluttered or organized, and some of them are over the top. Oh, well, I could never be like that because that's just too perfect. Like I'm just a mess and there's no way that I can be that because I'm not, poly perfect here. Or we say and go like, yeah, right. I don't want to be organized because they are so stuffy and they are so snobby. Like there's this whole image that can revolve around being organized and being decluttered, when in fact, you really just have to determine, what does that look like for you? Everybody's definition of being organized is different.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you have a Pinterest perfect closet where everything is in bins and it's labeled? Great, good on you. Then you be that person. But if it just means that, hey, I'm going to use all of the bins that I've accumulated over the last 20 years of being married, everything that I found on the street corner and what I've gotten, I've recycled boxes from Christmas presents and that's what I'm going to use. But as long as everything has a home, I consider it done. You know what? What's your definition of what it is you want to be? And just because somebody else or you have this negative image in your mind of what it means to be fit or what it means to be organized doesn't mean that that's what it has to be for you. Right. Nothing has a meaning until you give it meaning. So what do you want it to mean? If you are living in chaos, but you don't think you could ever get somewhere, well, how can we improve that? How can we create an image in your mind that's good for you and not some crazy, idea that we've conjured up simply because all we ever see is perfect, Pinterest, HGTV home pantries, and we think that that's what we have to be. That doesn't mean what it is. So it just means taking a step back, deciding what you want the definition to be and working towards it. And what I have found is that once we hit where we think we want it to be, chances are we see how awesome it is to be here and think, okay, I can take it probably one step further.
Yep.
And then we can see how we can enjoy sitting in that space and not thinking of it as negative at all.
Right.
In any way, shape, or form.
So really, we need to recognize what our preconceived notion is of whatever fit or organized or clean or strong or healthy means. We need to recognize that and then modify it to fit what we want it to mean. So if you want to be fit, and to you fit means you can ride your bike with your kids and you can wear a swimming suit and feel good and most of the time you make healthy choices, then that's what fit needs to mean when you see it. And pay attention to and catch yourself, because I still catch myself seeing people and going, oh, well, I could never have that because I'm not willing to blah, blah, blah. So catch yourself and recognize that that preconceived idea is holding you back from getting to where you want to be.
So that's your homework for this week, is decide if if you listen to us and go, yeah, okay, I want to be fit, but I don't want to be like that. Or yeah, I want to be organized, but I don't want to be like that. Identify what it is that's holding you back or what that negativity is, where it's coming from, and create what is right for you. So take a look at this idea of being organized. Take a look at the idea of being fit. What does it mean for you? And let's start working at it. But you can't start working until you've identified where it is you want to go. Okay, so no negative images, no freaking out,
no judging,
no name calling or judging. Let's figure out what that image looks like for you, and let's get you there. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you've gotten something from it, make sure you share it with somebody who can benefit from it as well. We would appreciate the share. And as always, we love you, and we'll see you next week.